Today on My RC Life, the first gen E-Revo gets metal drive shafts, a new rear bulkhead, and a spiral cut front diff. What's going on, everybody? Tractus Mike from My RC Life. Today I'm going to get to work on getting this E-Revo back up to speed. This is a first gen E-Revo. It used to have two brushed motors on it, plastic axle shafts. I've upgraded it to a Castle 1515 motor. It's a 2200 kV, and I got BLX 185 ESC on there. I've also went to metal axles. The plastic axles with the big motor like this, they blow all the time. Ironically, even if you bought a first gen E-Revo like this with the Mamba Monster system in it, which is the same as this motor here, it still came with plastic axle shafts and drive shafts. But I've upgraded the axle shafts, but I still have plastic drive shafts, which are the shafts that run from the transmission to the front diff and the transmission to the rear diff. They're located underneath here. What I got going on today is I got a set of metal front and rear drive shafts for the old girl. Another thing that happens on these first gen E-Revos is stock diffs are kind of weak. The rear ones you go through the most. I put a set of spiral cut gears in the rear end, and it's been handling awesome. Now I got a hot racing spiral cut gear for the front end as well, because the last time I had this out, if you watched the video, I was doing backflips and I took out the front drive shaft and the front end was starting to click. So today we're going to go ahead and tear it apart. Alright, I don't remember exactly how I need to go about this. I'm pretty sure we need to start from the bottom here. 2.5 millimeter. You're going to pull off this whole center plastic deal here. Once you got those out, should be 4 bolts there. Should be able to slide this bad boy back. If you can't slide it back, you might have to loosen up this one guy right there. Yeah, see, when you loosen up a bit, it allows that to move. And then, bam, pops right out. Okay, now you can already see the rear drive shaft there. Front one's kind of hidden. You might as well do the rear one first, since it's opened up the most there. You can turn your wheels so you can rotate your pin up where you can access it. Go ahead and pull that one out. There's also one back here. Now I'm starting to remember that we also need to pull off this rear skid plate to get to the pin that goes down through there and hold that in. For this one, we're back to the 2 millimeter. Okay, get them out. And I don't know how well you guys can see this. You see this right here? It's nice and straight. And this one is like a big chunk missing from it right here. I forgot last time when I put the spiral cut gears in the rear end that I had also ordered new diff cases for the rear end. And they came in the very next day. We'll go ahead and install these today as well. We need to take a couple bolts out of this wing. 1, 2, 3, 2.5 millimeter. And then this should just slide right off, just like so. Then we have 2 bolts right here, 2 millimeter. Then we have a few bolts here that need to come out, 2 right here, 2.5 millimeter. And then these 2 here, also 2.5 millimeter. Now mine always come apart different. My one just takes the button head off from the left side, and this one pulls the whole stud out of the casing. So those come off, and your shocks pull out, and then your whole rear end should pull apart from your car. Next, we need to pull these pins, 2 long ones up top. And then we got 4 little ones in the bottom. 2 down here, 2 that come out of here as well. Just like that. That unhooks all your A-arms. And you want to slide your little deals off of there. There, now them are fully unhooked. Now I do believe there's 1 bolt right here that holds these 2 case halves together. It's going to be a 2mm as well. And then this should split. Bam, just like that. New case halves, 5329. Okay guys, well I got the new case halves out of the package, and look, it came with new studs that come out. I do have to get this one out of my rocker, but yeah, it came with those new and 2 new bolts. I'm going to take my little vice grips, clamp them on this old bolt here. Pull the old bearing off from this other one here. Okay, we got that off. Pull your dry shaft off of your diff. I'll go ahead and shove this bearing right in there, because that's where it should be. Now if you look at your diff here, up. So yeah, that means that end faces up. So we're just going to do that just like it said. We got our 1 screw here that holds the 2 case halves together. Bam. That's all in there. And we're going to go ahead and open up our dry shaft parts here. There is your number, 5650. Only one end has the little red ring guide to it. That'll kind of do that. And that has to go on the differential. We're going to go ahead and align that up with the differential there. Go ahead and insert it there. All right, it's time to start inserting this back in the car. Okay, now we want to get the other half here installed on the transmission. Okay, line that pin up there. Slide that blue guy up as much as I can. Okay, pop this guy up into place really good, just like so. Look at that cute little dog. Boy, she just likes being in here with Dad. That's all she wants to do, is just hang with me. Right, Trixie? Yeah, he's a good dog. And they are labeled if you're confused. Right up in there, left rear, LR. See it? Right above my fingernail. Okay, so we're going to hold that up like that. Get one of our lower pins started in here. Get your dog bone started up in the thing there. Unless you got plastic ones, then you got to just get your plastic deal up in there. Okay, we got that sucker in there. Your shock push rod goes up through the middle of this A-arm. The angled part of the A-arm, the top A-arm goes this way. The curved part goes that way. Pop pin. Okay, she's in there now. I'm going to put my shock up in there. Then I can get one of my bolts down in through here. It's going to hold the case, hold it in place because it keeps on falling out right now. Okay, now that bulkhead ain't going to fall out. I was having problems with that. Okay, I'm going to compress this shock a little bit like so. And slide this down. Bam. Alright, that side's on there. Now it's kind of supporting itself, see? We're going to move over to this side. Get a lower pin started in there. Upper pin. Okay. Stick our shock through there. Long bolt. Bam. Okay, flex this shock up so I can slide the rocker on the shaft just like I did on the other side. Okay. We got these new bolts that came with the kit for the bulkheads. Now we can't forget, we got 2 more pins right down here we got to shove in from the other side. Okay, we got those pins in there. Then you want to go ahead, slide this guy over your pins. There we go, just like that. Turn your tires almost like they're turning on the front, and turn them back in. Then these guys just go in through the eyelets of those. Just like that. I'll flip it over, flap this guy here on, and you got 4 2mm bolts here. Alright, so that's on. We can put the rear wing on, I guess. These are 3 of the same length button heads, 2.5mm. One here in the center, and then 2 on the side. See where them little reliefs are cut? That's for your Allen wrench to sit right down in there. Okay, kind of the same deal as the rear end. For the wing, you got 1 bolt here, 1 there, and 1 right there. All 2.5mm. That should just pull right out just like that. You gotta take out these 5 bolts here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now this one is different than the other ones. It's long, I do believe. It's a long guy. These 4 are going to be shorty. Okay, pop that off. Does this pop off too? I don't remember. Yep, that flexes off just like that. 1 bolt right here. 2mm. And that's going to allow us to pull this little pin keeper deal off of here. Now that that's off, we should be able to pull our pins. 4 on the bottom, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. And we got 2 on the top. All right, after those pins are out, got 2 here, 2mm. Then if we unhook the steering rack here from these 2 steering servos, it'll allow us to get rid of the whole front end. I guess I forgot that we have 2 bolts holding our shocks in yet. 2.5mm. And a couple more after that too. 2 more 2.5s. These will, or should, slide right up off like that. Bam. Now, our whole kit and caboodle picks right up and moves out of the way. Okay, 2.5mm here and here. Flip it over. Take out a bolt out of your drive shaft here. Slide off. And you're going to want to get a bolt out right here as well. That totally gets rid of your old drive shaft. Pull these out. And that allows for your case to split, just like so. Pull off your dog bone cups. Back to your 2.5mm. And open up your diff case. If you guys are wondering, hey, that's already a spiral cut ring and pinion gear. That's because I had done this video and I lost like a big honking section of footage. So I had to tear this car back apart, put some of the old parts back in, reassemble it, just so I could record the video for you guys. I hope you appreciate it. But I'm not going to go ahead and tear that diff apart. It's very simple, I think. I don't need to get to that part. All you do, remove the one bearing, undo those 4 bolts, take this one off, your old one, put your new one back on. And as far as this part goes, you would pop out your old pinion, put the new one in, wham bam thank you ma'am, and that's done. But I will show you what the deal was, why this was starting to click. Do you see the few little chips right there? That's what was making the click. The pinion looked in pretty good shape, but the ring gear had a few chips on the teeth, and that's what was making the click there. Then you go ahead and slip your bearing back on. This only goes in one way. Put your other half together there. 2.5 millimeter. Back to the 2 millimeter. Put it on the output shaft here. Like I showed you before, up. Put your case halves back together like so. Take our short dry shaft, and remember, this part with the red deal here goes towards the diff, not towards the transmission. And we're going to slide this in there. I'm going to slide the end of your short dry shaft onto your transmission as we do it. Put that pin in, flip it over, and put these 2 in right there. Back to the 2.5 millimeter. Okay, flip it back over. We got this crossbar here to put back in. Back to the 2 millimeter. Slide our rocker on here. Slide our rocker on over here. Back to the 2.5 millimeter. Put these small button heads in up here. Flip it over. You can get a steering assembly in there. Put our steering arm bolts in. Alright, got that all in there. Get this guy in here. Put our pins in our lower A-arms. There's one there. Get your second pin in on the back side here. The front ones in as well while we're doing the whole pin game. Flip it over. Oh, and one of our dog bones popped out. Probably both of them. Yep, both did. That's alright. We pop them in and get our A-arms twisted. This big channel here goes towards the front. It don't go this way. It goes this way. Alright, get that dog bone back in there. Lean the tire in. All while getting your A-arm lined up. And we can get the long pin in. Now there's 2 holes. You got a lower hole or an upper hole. So whichever one you want to use. Okay, so we're on the top hole there. Okay, the same thing over here. Align our dog bone. Get this A-arm positioned. Okay, top hole. Just like that. Alright, so that's all the way in. Stick this bad boy on. Still on the 2mm. Flip that baby over. And I do believe this can go in next. Just like that. And we got the front piece here. Now this can't just smack in like this. You have to actually slide it in like that. Still on the 2.5. I'll replace this guy. Now we do have to loosen this up again. I forgot about that. So it can lift up to pry this underneath. Tighten this back up. And we move back to the 2.5mm. We have 8 of those. Flip this back over. Before I put this front bumper on, we're going to go ahead and put in these little suspension adjustment deals. What they do is they go in like right here or right there. It actually adjusts the length of your truck. So I'm going to stick it all the way out like that, so it's got as much length as it can. Longer vehicle usually handles better, in my opinion. Pop them in, release the vice grip. Number 4. Now to the other side. Slide that forward. Okay, so those are in, and I don't know how well you can notice, but I don't have a bunch of slop in there now. Last thing, slide our bumper on here. One of them is short and it goes back here. The 2 longer ones go up front. Alright guys, no screws left, so it must mean it's done. Okay, so E-Revo is done. We got metal drive shafts in it now, and spiral cut front diff to match the spiral cut rear diff. Alright guys, if you have any questions or want to leave a comment, go ahead and bleep bloop bleep bleep that down below. I'm Traxxas Mike from IRC Life, and I'll see you later. Bye guys.